Yeah, yeah. Baby, baby, you're my sun and moon. Girl, you're everything between. A lot of pretty faces could waste my time, but you're my dream, girl. You make flowers bloom. Girl, you make the stars collide. And I don't know what I did to get lucky like this, but it sure feels fine. Cause you give me love and affection, I give you all my protection. I'm trying to stay by your side till the day I...
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me again. If you have realized, I didn't make a post this Sunday. I normally make my videos on Sundays, but I haven't been able to because it's been rough, it's been hectic. It's been a long couple of weeks for me. I've been very busy, so I haven't been able to do anything. As you can see, I'm not in my usual spot today. I'm in my car, I'm at work, but I'm taking like a 5 minutes break to go grab something to eat. I am literally starving, so I'm gonna run down to Wendy's, get something to eat, and then go back to work. But I'm just taking a minute to let you know what's going on. And today I'll be talking about the differences between nurses in Jamaica and the US, because yesterday I was talking to somebody back from home and I was telling them how different nursing is back here, and they were asking me what it's way easier, right? No, it is not. So no, it is nothing near easier, okay? Somebody lied to me when I was back home. They told me that, guess what, the RN sit at the desk and monitor what's going on the computer screen, and you have LPNs and CNAs that does various things, and they lied to me about the responsibility of the RN here, because the responsibility of the RN here is so much more than what we have in Jamaica. But guys, stay tuned because I'm gonna tell you all about what it's like, okay? So this is me leaving work, guys. So don't mind me looking like a crazy person. It's the end of the day and I am tired. So don't mind the crazy, tired, sweaty look. Tennessee is super humid at the moment. I think it's like about 90 something outside. I think it was 99 today, about 90 something outside. Alrighty, so the first part of my video I was on my lunch break, so I was looking a little bit better. Now I'm about to go home. So I was saying I'm gonna tell you about the differences between nurses here and nurses in Jamaica, because I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were telling me that nursing here in the US is much easier. So let me tell you a bit about it, okay? I'm not home, I'm still in the car, so I don't have anything to put my phone on, so I'll be holding my phone, so the video might be a little bit shaky. Alright, so first off, we look different, right? Nursing in Jamaica and the US look different. I wear a scrub here. In Jamaica I wear a white uniform, so as anybody see you on the road, they can say warm nurse or something like that, because they recognize you. They're able to identify who you are because of what you wear, right? Up here almost everybody wear the same thing. Some of the hospitals, like most of the hospitals I've been at, the nurse, the CNA, and everybody wear the same scrub. I'm trying to get rid of some of the lights in my face. Everybody wear the same scrub, right? So you can't really differentiate or identify who is who. So when you go into the patient room, you have to make sure that you properly identify yourself, or they're not gonna know if you're a nurse, you're a doctor, or you're their tech, right? So that's the first thing. That's number one. Don't mind me looking down. I had to make some jottings for this one. So in Jamaica, nurses have a whole lot of freedom in comparison to here. I thought we didn't have freedom there, but we have a whole lot of freedom. If you go to work a little bit late, you're not gonna get, you're not gonna have anybody sending you a letter or email or anything like that saying this is your first warning, or you have to change up something. I've never gotten that, but that's what I heard happen if you go to work too late. Like they're gonna give you like maybe 2 warnings, and then the third time if you're at work late, then they're gonna fire you. In Jamaica they're not so strict on that, right? So up here you have to make sure, say if a 6:30 work starts, you're there at 6:30 on the dot. In Jamaica we got an hour break. Here we get like 30 minutes break. There's not much you can do in 30 minutes. I thought the 1 hour break back home was short, but it's long in comparison to here. And then, like, you know, your colleague them move good at everything. So if you have little errands to go run, you can tell it your colleague, all right, you're gonna do this for me until you come back. And you and your colleagues have that relationship, so them go have the floor lock till you come back, right? So that was good. So you have the freedom there. Also you could stand up for yourself more if you feel like you're being disrespected. Guess what, you can go to the person and you can say, I don't like how this go, I don't like how that go, and you never have to talk to me the way they are, something like that. I've had disputes with the sisters before, and like I could tell them that, guess what, I didn't like how you say that to me, or you know, and everybody go deal with it on a level and all that. Nobody now go say you disrespect them or whatever and try to fire you or anything like that. So you have to know how to stand up for yourself here. You're not from this country. This thing here might be different in most places that you go to. So your accent is different and they know you're not from here. So sometimes they will try to give you the worst assignment because guess what, you're an international nurse and all of that, and they perceive international nurse as in they're making more money because you're still considered a travel nurse. Even though you're new to the country, you're not traveling, so you're not getting the pay that the travel nurses are making, but you're still perceived as a travel nurse, so you will get the worst assignment and you know, stuff like that. So you have to be able to stand up for yourself. Make sure you're smart. Stand up for yourself in a respectful way. Don't allow people to put you down or try to take step of you. You have to learn how to do that in a very respectful way, in a very smart way, because we come from Jamaica. We're not gonna make nobody play with a fool. So you have to make sure you figure out how to stand up for yourself. Okay? Jamaica, you would call a doctor to come put their IV in, because I could put IV in. I wasn't perfect at them, but sometimes it was a hit or miss, you know. Sometimes I put them in and I get them, sometimes I don't. But if I don't feel like trying, I would call the doctor and say, okay, this patient wants an IV 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, call the doctor and tell them, say, guess what, this patient need an IV and doctor have to come put in them IV here. So if you think you're bad, call one doctor. If you think you're bad, call a doctor to come put an IV in. You have to put your orders, your IVs in, honey. So if you haven't, if you don't, if you're planning to migrate to the US, you're from Jamaica, you're planning to migrate to the US, and you don't know how to put an IV in, I would advise you get as much practice as you can right now. Get as much practice as you can. When I came here, I wasn't good at IV at all, and I would get so nervous. Like if one of my patient IV blew, I start have palpitations. That is how anxious I became if I had to put an IV in. But I tried and I tried, like few times I would miss and I would ask another nurse for help, but me don't like ask people for help. Me don't like ask for help. From morning, that's my problem. Me like know, say if I have one task to do, I can do it on my own. So I watch some YouTube video and me get back, you know, like how you put the IV in and all that. I knew that, but I'm like, there has to be a better technique, like a better way to do it. Yeah, so I learned that, and now I cannot say I miss an IV right now. It must be like a really hard stick for me to miss an IV. So I have mastered that, and trust me, I am grateful for that one. I am grateful. Another thing is like male catheter. We don't put male catheter in back home, so coming here trying to put one in was nerve-wracking. Like you call me to put a female Foley in, and that's me I run come a long time because I know how to put that one in because we put it in back home. But here we have to put the male catheter in, which we weren't allowed to do back home. So the first time I did that, oh my goodness, a pure blood come. So you know who ball. I cried. I came out of that room and I cried. But then, like, the relatives were grateful. The doctor called and the doctor talked to me, and it was some underlying thing that the patient have why he bled that much, and it was because that Foley was put in why they picked up on that. Alright, the Foley, and then they took a urine sample, and that's how they found out that there was some underlying condition. The patient had to do a surgery. So I was relieved because it wasn't me that caused him trauma, which caused him to bleed. So I was very relieved. But even though I was relieved, like, I would still panic because I'm like, I put a catheter in and the patient start bleeding. I would still panic each time I have one to put in. But thanks be to God, I am past that right now as well. I successfully put male Foleys in. So a lot of the skills that you don't do back home, here you have to do it. But you can master it, you can accomplish it. Practice makes perfect, and that's what I realized. Okay, that's what I have done, and I have mastered some of the skills that I couldn't do back home. Yeah, so that's that. And right now I'm not trying to beat anybody down, right? If you're an American nurse and you're watching this, I'm not trying to beat anybody down at all, and I do apologize if anyone feels offended. But in the US, you have a lot of computer nurses, a lot of nurses who knows the protocols, and when you hear them talk about the protocols, you'll think that they're the smartest thing there is. But ask them something practical, or ask them something about the theory, and they will not know. So it's not about the computer, guys. It's real patients you're dealing with, right? Real people we are dealing with. It's not like a mannequin in school or anything like that. If you don't know the theory and you don't know the practical aspect, you're not a smart nurse. And when you come here as an international nurse and you don't know something, like, you'll ask a question, somebody will go around there, so, and they're gonna beat you down. So guess what? This nurse is an international nurse and she don't know this or she don't know that or whatever. Right? I've heard a nurse talking about that before, like somebody asks a question and they don't, how can they not know this or how can they not know that? We don't know it because we don't use computers back home, and we don't follow all the protocols back. We don't follow computers back home. We go based off theory and practical. That's what we go off. So if you're coming here and you have your theory and you have your practical locked, you got this. Okay? You got this. Because the protocols is something that you can learn. The protocols are something that are written there for you to follow. So don't be nervous about that because you don't know their protocols. You will get it in time. Ask questions. Don't care about what anybody wants to say. Just ask questions, because you don't want to make mistakes in this country because everything is a lawsuit. So just ask what you don't know and apply your theory, apply your practical. You got this. Okay? In Jamaica, we do paper charting, right? Here we do computer charting, and there's a lot of different, like, every hospital you go to, they use a different charting system. Like, if you go here and they use Meditech, and you go to another hospital over there and they use Meditech, it is the same name, but they might use a different version of Meditech, so it's different. So every hospital you go to, you have to learn their charting system, and that's fine. It's not hard to learn charting system. It's very easy to learn it, right? Jamaicans are smart. We're very smart, and if we decide that we're gonna learn something, we are gonna learn it. So don't let charting systems or anything like that put any fear into you. Don't let, because you're an international nurse, put any fear into you, because we are smart and we learn very fast. We grasp things very easily. Okay? So those are some of the pointers that I have to point out today. I think that another thing is, like, it's more difficult, it's harder to make, like, errors here, like to give a patient the wrong medication, you know, because here we have to scan the patient, we have to scan the medication. So medication error is much harder than it is back home. Here we use, like, the Omnicell, so you have to go in and it's a computer looking thing. You have to select the patient name, select the medication that they're getting. Jamaica, you just go pull some medication out of one drawer. So it's much harder here to have a medication error in comparison to Jamaica, and that's one thing I really like, right? Because medication errors are so common, but because you have to scan so much things, it's hard. Even the simplest thing like doing a blood sugar check, you have to scan your patient. So you have to scan your armband, you have to scan your badge, scan the patient armband, and scan the glucose strip. So even things like that, it's hard to make an error with. Some hospitals, not all of them, but some of them, you have to scan the patient to get their blood pressure checked. So they both have their ups and downs, good and bad, but it's not easy. It's not as easy as you've heard anybody talk about. Nursing here is not a fairy tale. It's not what you see in TV, and it's not what a lot of people will tell you. Some people come and they don't really want to share their experience, but it's doable, right? It is doable. Just come, learn, and shine. You'll make it. You'll make it. Trust me, you will. Don't be afraid. Don't be anxious about anything. Just take initiative. Keep reading, keep learning, keep abreast with current nursing trend. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't care if somebody's gonna talk and say you don't know this. If you don't know, you don't know. You're new to the country. Their protocols and policies are different. Everything is done differently here. So just come with an open mind and willing to learn, okay? And you will make it. We're Jamaicans, we are smart, and we can do anything that we put our minds to, okay? So that's just about what I have to say to you today. I'm gonna take myself and go home, try to get some rest. I'm back here tomorrow. So yeah, that's that. But have a wonderful evening, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for joining me. Bye.